And you can also see some similarities between a man and a woman. They are all adults. And some similarities between a boy and a girl. They can be classified as not adults. Okay, so they're minus adults. So the componential analysis allows us to uncover some similarities as well as some differences, okay, between words that are semantically related. Componential analysis also enables us to see some similarities in the meaning of words, certain words, such as travel, give, and become, just like we saw in the concept go. Okay, so it enables us to see some similarities in the meanings of certain words, just like we saw in the concept go. And then another advantage is that certain fields of terminology can be adequately analyzed using componential analysis. Okay, so there are certain fields of terminology that can be adequately analyzed using componential analysis. So think about manufactured items, okay, that can be analyzed using componential analysis. And also some tertiary fields where categories are often implicit, right? So when we say that there are certain fields of terminology that can be adequately analyzed using componential analysis, you may want to first of all provide a definition. You may want to provide a definition for maybe an item, a manufactured item, and from that definition you are able to come up with certain features of the item. You are able to analyze the word using what we've seen with the rest of words such as man and woman from the definition itself. And this could be done through, like I said earlier on, providing a definition. So you can define an item. You can define a manufactured item. Okay. You can also extract each feature from the definitions. And you may also want to find some common features from the definition. And the definition can also provide you other features, not only some common features, but other features as well. You can also determine by comparison which are defining features and which are redundant. Let's use the term insurance as an example. The term insurance as an example. Okay, let's see what sort of features the term insurance has. Under a term insurance policy, the benefits are payable upon the death of the life insured, provided that death occurs within a specified period. So if the life insured survives to the end of the period, the cover ceases and no benefits are payable. So this is what we know about insurance. This is what we can say about the term insurance, especially when a policy is involved. Okay, somebody gets the benefits. The benefits in this case are payable upon the death of the life insured. Okay, and provided that death occurs within a certain period. So from what we have here about the term insurance, we can get certain features of the term insurance. We can get certain features, certain components of the term insurance from the explanation that we have here. Okay, so what sort of features, or what would be the features of the term insurance from this explanation that we have? What would be the features of the term insurance from what we have here? Think about it. So the features of the term insurance would be features as follows: a life insurance policy, benefits are payable on death of insured, death must occur within a specified period, and if death does not occur within a specified period, then there are no benefits. So we see some 4 features here of the term insurance from that explanation that we saw earlier on. So this explanation has provided us with 4 features of the term insurance. Okay, we've seen some advantages of componential analysis. Now I would like us to consider some limitations, some disadvantages of componential analysis. The first disadvantage is that componential analysis that we do for words may be language specific. Okay, we may be able to define or provide a definition or provide some components, basic components or features of a word, okay, depending on the language that we're using. Okay, Consider the word chair in English. Consider the word chair in English. You know, the definition that is provided for the word chair in English is that it is a piece of furniture to sit on with a back without arms and for one person. Think about our own languages, our own local languages. For instance, Chichewa. In our language, a chair may have arms. A dictionary definition for a chair in Chichewa may have arms. So when we consider a chair, we consider chairs that have arms. It also goes without arms in Chichewa. Okay, this is the reason why we're considering language specific as one of the disadvantages of componential analysis, because you know we've said that for us to provide certain features of a word, we may consider the definitions first, and the definitions sometimes may be language specific, as we have seen here that in English a chair is a piece of furniture that does not have arms, or in our language like Chichewa, a chair may have arms. And another disadvantage is that the componential analysis may only work for certain semantic fields. Okay, it may only work for certain semantic fields. You know, consider footwear, or consider a word such as shoe. Okay, it is difficult to analyze this word in terms of minus or plus. What can you say about shoes in terms of minus and plus? And what can you say about a car, a means of transport, as an example of a means of transport in terms of plus or minus? So in this case, we see that componential analysis may only work for certain semantic fields, because it may be difficult for us to analyze a word such as shoes in terms of plus or minus signs. Componential analysis in this case may therefore not be a very comprehensive method of semantic analysis, but particularly appropriate for regulated fields. So it may be appropriate for certain fields, but not in other fields, especially when it comes to terminologies. Another limitation of componential analysis is that, you know, when you analyze a word in terms of plus or minus signs, in terms of its semantic features or in terms of its basic components, you know, you may want to ask a question, so what? You can analyze a word such as dog in terms of plus animal and also plus canine, and then so what? Okay, so you may ask yourself a question, what value is there in analyzing the meaning of words such as dog into semantic features such as plus animal plus canine? Is there any value in analyzing this? Okay, especially when you cannot analyze these basic components any further. Okay, you can analyze the word dog into plus animal into plus canine, but is it possible to analyze a plus animal any further? Okay, is it possible to find the basic components for the word animal? Is it possible to find the basic components for the word canine, or for the feature animal, or for the feature canine? Okay, so componential analysis becomes useful when there's further analysis of semantic features. But when you can't analyze the features any further, then componential analysis is not at all useful. Another disadvantage is that it is difficult to analyze the meaning of certain words in terms of semantic features, especially adjectives. You know, here we have in mind the adjective blue. You know, for certain nouns like the noun dog, or the noun woman, the noun man, as we've seen before, it is, you know, possible for one to describe it or to analyze it in terms of features. But when it comes to words, you know, adjectives such as blue, it is difficult. Okay, so do we say that the meaning of blue consists of the feature plus color and something else? And then if we consider that, if we say that the meaning of blue consists of the feature plus color, then what is the other thing? Okay, because when you want to analyze blue, or when you want to describe blue in terms of features, the attribute that comes to your mind is color, and then there's nothing else. Okay, and you can't talk about blueness because you're still clinging on to the same word blue, and nothing has changed. Okay, so it is difficult in this case to break down blue into further features, into smaller components. Okay, so we've seen that componential analysis has some advantages as well as disadvantages. We are able to analyze words, we are able to group certain entities into some classes, and we are also able to analyze certain verbs, okay, in different ways, like we saw with the verb, go. Okay, and we've also seen that componential analysis has some disadvantages, but still componential analysis is used nowadays, for analyzing, certain words, certain phrases, and we're able to know more about certain words or certain objects in terms of their features. Okay, when we're analyzing, the different words or the examples that we saw, such as man, woman, girl, and boy, we saw that these words can be described in terms of different meanings, okay? And we also had at the back of our minds, certain meanings as well. So from there, we saw that meaning must be something that exists in the mind rather than in the world. Okay. So what comes to your mind when you think of the word woman? What comes to your mind when you think of the word man, girl, boy, and so on? Okay. So in this case, we are trying to say that meaning must be something that exists in the mind rather than the world. So what comes to your mind may not be equivalent to the meaning that the world considers. Okay. You may have your own ways of describing something, and your own ways of describing something may not be common. Okay. So it must be more abstract than pictures. Meaning must be more abstract than pictures. So there is more to it than just features. So there is more to meaning of a word than just features. There is more that you can say about a woman than just considering the features that we saw, the plus human, the plus adult, and so on. So there is more to a meaning of a word than just the features. Therefore, other approaches to semantics try to relate meaning to mental concepts. So concepts here is an important point that we need to know. Therefore, other approaches to semantics try to relate meaning to mental concepts. So apart from trying to find or trying to come up with the meaning of a word in terms of semantic features, okay, there are also other approaches that are used, okay, in order to arrive at meaning. And here we're considering the word concept. Concepts do not have to correspond to objects, images, or sets of features. Okay, they do not have to correspond to objects, images, or sets of features. However, equating meaning of linguistic forms with concepts in the mind requires determining what a concept is. So what is a concept? Underlying the use of words and sentences to explain meaning in human language is what is referred to as the conceptual system. So this conceptual system is capable of organizing and classifying all aspects of our life in terms of our inner feelings and perceptions, cultural and social phenomena, and also the physical world that surrounds us, and so on. Okay. Now that we are considering concepts, this leads us to think about, fuzzy concepts. Sometimes when you are considering a word, you may have a precise definition for that particular word. You may have some clear-cut boundaries for that particular word. Okay. But when you have words that do not have clear boundaries, when you have words that do not have precise definitions, this is what we are referring to as fuzzy concepts. There are certain words or certain phrases that do not have precise definitions, that do not have clear-cut boundaries. So because of that, they are considered as fuzzy concepts. Okay? Think about the concepts expressed by the phrases member of parliament, and also the concepts expressed by the phrases vice chancellor. Let's first of all consider member of parliament.